gets the introduction that he so much deserves and perhaps demanded to some extent as well. But he is the calculator, he is on stage, and so too are our next two players in our fourth match of the day here in Graz. Day one of the Austrian Darts Open. Wins so far this afternoon for Keegan Brown, for Russia's number one Boris Koltsov, and for the Irishman Steve Lennon, a 6-1 win over Jamie Bain. Now the turn of Tytus Kanik, a man who is making a bit of an impact on the PDC circuit, certainly making a bit of an impact on the European Tour of late as well. And he's up against one of the host nation qualifiers, and a man who may be familiar to some of you watching today as well, Dietmar Berger, a man who has played in this tournament before, and a man who at the age of 50 is one of the elder statesmen of Austrian darts. Easy to make a case here for Kanik, Paul. Yeah. Can you make any sort of claims here for Dietmar Berger? Bags of experience. The leg is Tytus to throw first. Game on. But will that count for anything?
I think based on current form, if Berger wants to win this match, Kanik's going to have an off day, because Kanik has been playing 96. Quite handily in the last 3 or 4 months. And I think he's building up towards a potential big run for the Polish World Cup team with Krzysztof Ratajski next month. Me and Dan were really plucking for the Polish chances last week when we were in Saarbrücken, and Kanik is really, really playing well at the minute. And you look at the statistics for Berger when he was coming through qualifying last night. His top average was 88 in his third game, his semi-final against Armin Glanzer, where he won 6-4. 88 average will beat Kanik, but he has to have an off day. Kanik is hovering around that 90-91 mark for the season. And he's just playing better than Dietmar always has on the European circuit when we've seen him.
Well, just to further embellish what I was saying about Kanik and the form he's in right now, he reached his first Pro Tour semi-final in April of this year, a campaign that got underway with a 6-0 win over Ricky Evans, by the way. And there was a win over Steve Lennon that weekend as well. Lost to Gabriel Clemens eventually in the last 4.
58. Dietmar, you require 134.
Now, can Dietmar find something magical?
Well, there's your answer. Not right now.
44. Tytus, you require 6.
Sensibly leaving the 0 on the end of that shot in case Kanik doesn't take this 20 in tops. One of the few players who throws down at tops. And he does get it. No real surprise there. That's a very handy first leg. Might not be the best leg, but it's a really good start for the Pole against the godfather of Austrian darts, Dietmar Berger, who brings the fans off their seats.
Well, in making a case for Berger at the start, I also cited his experience. Now, it is fairly limited, and I show, we need to look at this in some sort of context. This is only his 3rd European Tour appearance. Previous 2 were both in Austria. He lost in the first round on both occasions. One was against Terry Jenkins here, or in this tournament in 2012 when it was held in Wiener Neustadt, and last year he was beaten 6-1 here by Wayne Jones. But away from the European Tour, he's been crowned the Austrian champion, national champion on 2 occasions. He's twice played at the World Championship. He's represented Austria with Sulevic in the World Cup. And he's a former European champion at soft tip.
Quite the pedigree.
108.
Quite the visit.
Whether that experience, in inverted commas, is anything that stands for too much today remains to be seen.
77.
That was a really good visit by Tytus Kanik just to get himself on track in this second leg. Chance of a break of throw here as well, and he's in the money once again.
133.
I think we're starting to see a reason why Poland are fancied at the World Cup, to have a big run. Bullseye. Ooh, that was close. Get the feeling he needed it as well. Indeed he is playing a little bit better today than we've seen him on his previous occasions on the European Tour, but it's going to have to get better even still. Kanik is finding that range of his. Doesn't have to throw those darts very far. Because he's so tall, he leans over. He's probably only thrown it from about 5.5 feet.
Yeah, it's a break of throw for Kanik, a 13 dart break of throw as well.
37.
And moving in a very orderly progression at the moment is the Polish player.
Dietmar Berger, when he's throwing the darts, he's lurching forward on every dart. It's not going to help him. I think experience of getting through qualifiers for these events definitely tells when he gets through. But for me, the action is a bit too jerky.
46.
And it didn't used to be like that. See that smooth release from the pole. Very unfortunately hits the wire there.
Kanik only lost 5 legs in qualifying for this, by the way. He played 3 matches. 6-2, 6-2, 6-1 against Lurschbacher, against Gerd Nentjes, and also Jan Dekker.
What has happened to Zoran Lurschbacher? We haven't seen him on the European Tour for ages. As it wasn't even that long ago he was making the finals on the main tour. And then all of a sudden he has disappeared.
Yeah, Kanik came through the qualifiers for the European Tour card holders. That was held mid-April in Wigan, I believe.
There's been changes to qualifying, of course. Been changes to the qualifying for a lot of people like Max Hopp and Martin Schindler. They could potentially, have to go to qualifiers. I say that for Max because he's a seed at the minute. But double 18 for Kanik. Very good indeed. This is cutthroat stuff from Tito. And like I was saying, Tito is used to going to qualifiers now, and he's a danger when he goes to those things. He is no mug. And he's showing that he has got pedigree. By making that semi-final, he has said to the world, do you know what, I don't just want to be an also-ran. I want to actually do some stuff in this sport.
78.
He's an imposing fellow when you're next to him. Very, very imposing.
83.
Berger's qualifying programme was last night. The host nation qualifier saw 4 Austrian players come through the field, joining Mensur Suljovic, of course, and also Michael Rastovitz. Oh, sorry, Michael Rastovitz was one of the host nation qualifiers last night, sorry. But Berger came through 4 matches last night, although he only averaged 74.9 in his final win against Patrick Perner.
Yeah, it's the first time I can remember an Austrian tournament that doesn't have a Rodriguez in it.
Well, that's the point I was just going to come to, because, yeah, Rastovitz was one of the other qualifiers last night. Benjamin Fasching, brilliant name, by the way, and Patrick Tringler. Agonising for you, Paul, that your favourite player, Wilhelm Schwingenschlögl, was beaten by Fasching in the final round.
Well, I don't like that guy
already. Have you come
already.
to terms with that so far?
I've got to have a word with Wilhelm about that. I was really looking forward to having Mr. Schwingenschlögl in the draw, because he is a live wire, as well as having the best name in darts.
Well, a live wire who averaged 66 in that final last night, by the way.
Obviously over-practiced.
110. He might require 60.
Single 20. It's a good lie. Just go to the left. Surely.
It looked inviting, didn't it? On that left-hand side. Kanik let off here, and this could be a 16 dart, maybe a 17 dart break of throw for a 4-0 lead, maybe an 18 darter.
How much of that can he see from his height? Not a lot. Great camera angle.
Yeah, that really does indicate it very well indeed.
Well,
he found a way through. He found a way through, but it was just a bit too much. I think there was a slight deflection that just took it away from its target.
It's getting closer.
You can't believe that second dart isn't in. I think he was about to celebrate that one. That one, however, has found the double 10 bed. And the Austrian gives the home fans something to shout about at long last.
Well, judging by his expression, he looks like he's just lost the leg.
Yeah, it's only a hold of throw, so no great damage done as far as Kanik is concerned.
What's your thoughts, Rob, on potentially going to Poland with the European Tour? Gauging by the strength of a couple of the players that have got on the circuit now.
Well, Poland as a place to visit is fantastic. I think it's perfectly set up. I was there actually for the European Football Championship a few years ago, 2012. Went to watch the Republic of Ireland play over there, and Poznan was a delightful city, great host city. I think Poznan is the hometown of Tytus Kanik as well.
I think it is, yeah.
And I think it would be well geared up. Warsaw maybe not so. I think you're looking at somewhere maybe like Gdansk or maybe Poznan instead, a city that has the infrastructure. There's a good indoor venue in Poznan as well.
85.
Well, certainly one that could be adapted at not terrific expense.
Well, Austria has been part of the European tour since the very start, as well as Germany and Gibraltar. But other venues are being looked at. We go into Denmark, of course, again in June, and at the end of June we go to Prague. We go to the Czech Republic for the first time, where Karel Sedlacek will be the god of darts there. That will be something to watch. Better darts from Berger.
I like it, Dietmar. Dini in business here, down to 81 after 12 darts. Kanik on a bogey number here anyway.
Great switch.
93. Dietmar, you require 81.
Can he get within one? Can he get a shot at the bull? Will he hit the bull?
56.
He will not.
Tytus, you require
And that last dart, treble 18 from Kanik, has given himself this chance.
Yeah, a potential 81 checkout on the bull. Tops then for Kanik.
49. Dietmar, you require 25.
Ooh, he's hit the double. So he's left with 7.
That's a lovely double 9, though.
For future reference, Dietmar, that is a perfect double 9.
21.
And he misses double 2.
Tytus, you require
Just took him off
20.
his rhythm completely, because he is a rhythm player. He's a bit rat-a-tat-tat. And Kanik doesn't need asking twice. He takes the chance. He's played a lot better this season as Kanik than what we've seen in this match, but he hasn't had to, because he's not getting pressurized by Berger enough.
Yeah, that was a 19 dart holder throw for Tytus Kanik, and they are these sorts of legs where Berger really has to make his move. That could have, or should have, perhaps easily trimmed it back to 3-2, and as it is, Kanik may well just kick on again here, pouncing all over that opening visit of Berger of 58.
Well, we're seeing an average from Berger of around about that 79 mark, and that's where he was living yesterday in qualifying. He had a couple of games where he was over that 85 and 88, but most of the time when we have seen Dietmar play, it's around that 80 mark where he lives. And Kanik is better than that. He's around 90, but he's got another gear to put on top of that as well.
115.
6 darts thrown, and Kanik has the throw stolen away from Berger.
57.
A little exasperated gesture there from Tito to say that wasn't enough.
Yeah, he's. I think he's. From what I've seen of him, he's clearly a player who sets himself high standards, and when he misses these individual targets that you break down for him, he does get frustrated by it.
44.
And
130.
the response there was a negative one.
He's not going to get a shot at the bull, is Dietmar. And there's that ironic 60 with the second dart.
Ooh, and the
72.
far from ironic treble 3 as well, for good measure. Okay, he's left himself a 2-dart combination. If he gets the chance, Kanik needs the treble, finds the treble for tops. Shanghai for a 5-1 lead. Excellent play by Tytus Kanik. Paul Nicholson alongside me gives that one a round of applause, and a very well-deserved round of applause too. Brilliant, brilliant finish by Kanik.
That was very good indeed. Dietmar Berger was ruining the fact he couldn't get a single 20 or a treble 20 on that 130 checkout, and he was punished for not getting that first start right. That was a really accomplished finish from Kanik. It just goes to show some of the things that he's learned in the last 18 months since coming through Q School. He is growing as a player, and I think he's going to do more damage in the next few months. Maybe it could be this week. So watch out, Johnny Clayton, the 9th seed, because he's next if he gets through this from 5-1.
135.
There you have it. Dietmar has lifted his average to 82, but Kanik at 89.5, it's enough. That is enough to beat Dietmar Berger at this juncture. He's not playing enough big-time darts to lift his average towards that 90 mark where he would trouble Kanik, but I mentioned Kanik's got much more than this.
100. Dietmar, you require 130.
He got the single 20 this time on the 130, but he didn't get the treble. Will he be punished again?
42.
Not yet, anyway.
90.
Sink or swim, Dietmar. Single 16 for double. Miss it again and you could be out.
Yeah.
He's got it though. Stick it in there is Dietmar Berger.
Well, Tytus Kanik has never been beyond the second round of a European Tour event. He made round 2 on his debut in Leverkusen at the start of 2018, shortly after he'd won his tour card at European Q School. He was beaten 6-2 by Simon Whitlock on that occasion. First round defeat against James Wade at the German Open last year. First round defeat in Hildesheim earlier this year against Jamie Hughes. But as you say, if he does come through this one, he still has the small matter of the defending champion Johnny Clayton to overcome in Saturday's play. But still got a little bit of work to do here, Tytus Kanik. Won't be taking anything for granted just yet.
97.
In your preview video for this event, which was on Twitter earlier this afternoon, Rob, you were talking about the jacket that you'll win if you get this tournament in the bag. And of course, Johnny Clayton got a jacket last year. I believe it's in a frame.
Okay, so he's allowed in his house?
It's in his house.
So he's allowed to keep that one?
Absolutely.
I thought he may have to return it and just give it to whoever, irrespective of the size and fit.
Gets to keep the jacket, and it's all framed at home in memory of that brilliant event where he beat Gezi Price in the final.
I do remember as well when he was presented with it, it was the last thing he needed because it was about 120 on the stage under the lights at the end of the play on Sunday.
It was the equivalent
dripping in sweat, and then the last thing you want is to be bedecked in a woolen jacket.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of giving a king penguin an ice lolly.
This weekend, however, might be welcome.
Kanik needs tops for the match then. He's done everything right. He's just done his thing. He's been too strong for Berger.
And he's now looking at double 10. And Tytus Kanik, I think, will be slightly relieved to have found that double 10 because Dietmar Berger was breathing down his neck ever so slightly, but you have to say that is a very comfortable win for the Polish player. And Tytus Kanik is safely through to the second round where he will face the defending champion Johnny Clayton. Dietmar Berger acknowledges the acclaim of the home crowd, but it's Kanik who goes through, winning 6 legs to 2.
Das war euer Abschiedsapplaus für Didi Berger und wir begrüßen in der zweiten Runde Tytus Kanik. Congrats, Tytus. No English? Okay, then we wish you all the best for the second round. Trifft übrigens auf den Titelverteidiger Johnny Clayton morgen also gegen Tytus Kanik. Damit